Hello everyone, welcome to Rachel Pichler Yoga. Just in case we haven't met before, my name is Rachel. Today we're doing a full body flexibility practice. I'm just going to use my bolster or cushion a little bit today, find some space to move, and let's get started. So we are going to begin today laying down and maybe with our legs up in the air. So if you have maybe a wall or a couch or anything to rest your legs on, you can do that too. I am going to place my cushion underneath my hips to help hold my legs up. And you can also just lay flat and use your core to help you hold your legs up if you'd like to do that. But come onto your back for sure. Maybe you'll slide something just underneath your hips, kind of a little bit closer to your glutes than the middle of your back, so that whatever it is helping you hold your legs up instead of just arching your back and making this more challenging. So, lay down. Legs up. If you want to bring your legs up, you can rest your arms wherever is comfy. And then close your eyes. Notice how your legs feel right now. Are they heavy? Are they light? Kind of somewhere in between. And we do want to try to find that lightness or effortlessness. So holding the legs up can be a challenge, but we want to find that sweet spot where it's not that much work or less work than work. So if you have something to prop just a little bit under the hips, it helps. And you might give your toes a bit of a wiggle. Maybe the ankles a little point and flex. Feel your back, your head against the ground, probably feeling a little heavy. And see if you can just focus on your breath a little bit more. Forget about your legs. Just feel the air coming into your body, coming right back out. Just check in. How are your legs feeling now? Are they still heavy, still light? Has it changed a little bit? What about your back? What about your head? Everything that's touching the ground. Does it feel the same? Now, as we begin to move, start with a wiggle of your toes. Maybe a point and flex with the ankles again. You can start to bend your knees towards the chest. And if you have something underneath your hips, maybe you'll slide it out now or push it down. so that you're flat on your back. You can give your knees a bigger hug towards the chest if you want, maybe even add a gentle rock or sway side to side. And just notice the sensations that are starting to flow throughout your body. You can decide if you're going to roll over or rock forwards. We're going to come up to tabletop, so onto our hands and knees. And from here, you might give your hips a little bit of a sway side to side. And then we're going to bring our knees wide, big toes together. Send your hips back towards your heels. We're going to take our right hand. It's going to come either towards the left knee, and we're going to kind of drop down onto that shoulder. So your hand could be in front of the knee, or it can be on top of the leg, but kind of snug the arm under your chest. And then we're going to try to lay down on that right arm a little bit. And then this left arm, we're going to walk it off on an angle over towards the right side of the mat, so that maybe you're making some sort of diagonal line from hand to hand. So get as close to the ground with the right arm, the chest, as you can, and walk the left one over towards the right side, right corner of your mat. And if you can rest your head, that's nice too. Stay for just another breath. And then you can kind of slide that left arm back in or closer to you so you can push into the hand and lift your chest. Take your right arm out, maybe push into the hand, send your hips back towards your heels a little bit more. And then our left hand is going to either come kind of towards the knee or on top of the leg, towards the hip maybe. Slowly lower down and then start to walk the right hand over to the left, to the corner. So try to make that diagonal line. Doesn't really matter what it looks like, just visualize. And then let your head get as close to the ground as it can. And maybe walk the right fingertips more and more so you feel that length through the arm, the shoulder. Take just another breath. And then you can start to move the right hand arm back in and lift up. And take your left arm out from under you as well. We can lift back up into tabletop and maybe sway a little through the shoulders, the hips. Now, a few options for where we go next. You might work on sitting back towards your heels. If you have a pillow, you might bring it behind you. You might even sit on that pillow between the heels and the hips. If you're comfy sitting on your heels, you might widen the feet and try to sit between them. You can also sit on something with the feet wide. If you feel good sitting between the heels, you might lean back. And maybe your pillow is behind you to lay on top of. Something with the knees bent and bring in the hips towards the heels or between the heels. You don't have to lay all the way down, but you can if it's available for you today. It can be flat on your back. You don't have to be on a pillow as well. And lastly, maybe you'll even reach your arms above the head if you're laying down. But just a few breaths here can be a little bit tricky to relax in Hero's Pose. Let your shoulders soften. Feel your breath. And if you did reach above your head, lay down, you're going to start the journey back up. Back up to seated, maybe on the heels. And then if you're ready to come off of your knees, you can bring your hands to the ground. You might end up in tabletop for a moment, but then maybe extend one leg at a time and switching sides. And then we can sit down. So take all the weights out of the legs, out of the knees. But you might hug your knees in towards your chest. Keep the knees bent just a little bit longer. Maybe add a rock or sway side to side. And then we're going to send our left leg long and our right foot can cross over top. You can keep the left leg long or you can bend it. Hold your knee. Lengthen your spine. Start to turn your chest over towards the right. Give your knee a hug. Give it a hug so maybe you feel your glutes. And then take your right hand behind you, maybe even a little further behind you to twist more. And then lastly, your gaze. Take your gaze towards your right shoulder too to twist even more. Still keeping the hug of your knee to your chest with your left arm. Take just another breath. And then use an inhale to turn back to face forwards. Maybe give the knee a little extra hug to your chest. Sit a little taller. And then we can unwind our legs. Maybe give the knees a hug or a squeeze. Your right leg might go long first, left over top, and then maybe you will bend your right leg too. But hold your knees, sit as tall as you can. Start to turn your chest to the left. Wrap your right arm around your leg. Hug it. Try to find the glute, the nice hug of the knee. Take your left hand as far behind you as you can. And then take your gaze as far behind you as you can. And can you still hug the knee towards the chest. So take one more breath. And then use an inhale to turn forwards. And then maybe hold your knee again and sit tall. Give it a little bit of a hug towards the chest. And then relax. You can unwind your legs, give them a hug or a squeeze. Rock it out. We are going to lay down on our backs. So you can lay flat. You could slide your pillow under your hips again. You can keep your feet on the ground or lift them into the air. You could also find plow pose. You're going to bring the feet to the ground above the head or as close to the ground above the head as they will go as you lift your hips up. If you do have your legs lifted, hips lifted, anything lifted, just start to come back. Flat on your back. Maybe hugging your knees to your chest though. Notice what you feel throughout your body. Do you need a gentle sway side to side? Or to be still? And if you do still have your feet lifted, you can drop them down too. But maybe out a little bit wider, the knees as well. And then just take a sway of your knees side to side. Windshield wiper. Can be a bigger movement or nice and small. You might move the hips here, kind of twist a little bit. And then just lift the knees back up. And maybe hugging them to the chest one more time. And just massage your back against the ground with a gentle sway. And then you can send your legs out long if you'd like. Take a few moments in Shavasana. Just to continue to notice the sensations flowing throughout your body. And stay here for as long as you have time for today. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the day. And until next time, namaste.